There are now 218 confirmed cases of the new coronavirus virus, most of them in Wuhan, where the outbreak originated. So far, 3 people have died. This is a very serious condition.
All of Italy is now on lockdown. All of Italy is now on lockdown over the coronavirus. Italy's prime minister making the announcement at a news conference.
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
I don't watch the news anymore. I only check it once a day to see any updates, because right now the news is all bad. It's turned from fear-mongering, biased media on either side to bleak, hopeless people telling the world that it'll be another 30 days until it's safe to go outside again and try to feel normal. That could have easily been a monologue from any pandemic movie of the past 20 years. The name COVID-19 even sounds like a shitty virus that some independent filmmaker came up with while he was writing his shitty pandemic movie. But it's all real. How did we get to this point that we felt like it would never happen again? It's happened so many times in the past. Are we just more careful now? Maybe science and medicine had advanced to the point where, even if it did happen, it would calm down in like a week or so. Remember when Ebola was a thing? And then in like a few months, nobody was talking about it. That's, I guess, how we hoped COVID-19 would be. We all thought it would start in China and also end in China. There were 11.3 thousand Ebola deaths from 2014 to 2016. The 2012 MERS virus, that's still actively spreading today, has 850 deaths. And the SARS virus had 770 from 2002 to 2003. But we have seen worse. 60.8 million Americans were diagnosed with swine flu back from April 12, 2009 to April 10, 2010. But actually, I lied. Because swine flu killed 12,469 Americans, and COVID-19 has already killed 35,394. So we really haven't seen worse. But we're about to. If we look back at even older pandemics, they seem like urban legends. Yellow fever has the most similar death rate to COVID-19, with 100 to 150,000 deaths in the late 1800s worldwide. COVID-19 already has 149,024. The most common comparison to the coronavirus is the 1918 influenza pandemic, also known as the Spanish flu. I don't know how we still get away with calling it that. I'm not going to get into whether or not they're similar. Multiple people have already made videos on why they're not as similar as you might think. It lasted for almost 3 years and infected 500 million people, which was a quarter of the world's population at the time. People suffered from hemorrhages from mucous membranes, especially in the nose, stomach, and intestine, as well as bleeding from the ears and petechial hemorrhages in the skin. 40 to 50 million people died. So how did this come as such a shock to the world? Maybe because the last pandemic that shocked the world was HIV and AIDS, and if you were born on the day that it was labeled as a pandemic, you'd be nearly 40 today. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of people that never needed to be aware of dangers like this. Fast forward 15 to 20 years, and pandemic movies started coming out in theaters. We fantasize about extreme pandemics because somehow we never thought it could be possible. Or we did, and that made the movies even more unsettling. Either way, over time, the idea of a pandemic completely wiping out the population seemed completely out of the realm of possibility. When coronavirus was announced, jokes were made, just like Ebola. When we found out it could affect everyone, ironically we made even more jokes. It's as if we still cannot fathom the situation we wake up to every day. I know we technically can, but there's still a very real, lingering feeling that all of this can't be happening. How could it be happening? But it is happening. And now it affects all of us. I don't mean to add to the dark idea of the future that's already in the back of everyone's minds, and a part of me is not even speaking to the average person. I'm speaking to the person that thinks it won't affect them. That if you don't react to it, it might just pass you by. It won't. If you're the type of person that turns off the news because it's bad news, but also turns a blind eye to the problem, you become the problem. It's actually really frustrating because if there are still people going to the beach or going on spontaneous vacations or going to coronavirus parties, that's real. How can we expect the whole country, let alone the whole world, to take actions in stopping issues that aren't currently affecting us on a global scale yet, like climate change? I think when this is all over, after we've collected ourselves and thanked all of our healthcare workers for being the bravest heroes that got the whole world through its toughest time in decades, arguably over a century, we should take a step back and think about what issues we all have a hand in stopping before it's too late.